Hello, and thank you for joining me. I've got a bunch of questions to catch up on, pages and pages and pages of questions. But I found one question that I'm going to get this done before I do the others, because this is helping me answer or helping me frame an idea that I try to convey when I talk about the parallel lives and how we're playing out both sides of every choice. So this is how this particular question reads. It says, at the moment of conception, is the trajectory that our brain is focused on with all of its predetermined choices selected at that moment, and this brain remains focused on a particular trajectory throughout its entirety of its life until the expiration date? If so, why does the brain focus on this particular trajectory at the start of life? All right. Your brain isn't picking one trajectory. Okay. Just like we have a veil, and our brain creates this veil, and it's creating the veil from the ethereal to the earthbound. So it's taking all the ethereal information, filtering it through, finding out what is relevant and needed information for this particular life experience. So for Maren, for me, using me as an example, the information that's being filtered in is selected for me and for what I'm going through and what is relevant to my life. Now, the veil isn't just a veil between the earthbound and the ethereal. This is where it gets really cool. And our brain really is like magic. Everyone's brain. Every person on this planet, their brain is like magic. Every single trajectory, both sides, so we're just going to look at choices because we're playing out so many things, but we'll just say two choices. And we're going to say chocolate and vanilla ice cream. When we make that choice between chocolate and vanilla ice cream, so we're standing in the ice cream shop and we're looking, and we'll pretend that there's only two flavors, chocolate and vanilla. We won't pretend that there's a whole bunch of different flavors, but these two. And we're standing there, we're like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm going to have ice cream. One trajectory is going to have the vanilla ice cream, and one trajectory is going to have the chocolate ice cream. Now, what happens in that moment? Because we are the exact same particle. So I am the exact same Maren taking chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream. So how is this possible? Because I'm not going to be branching. I'm not dividing like a cell dividing. I am the exact same particle. And this is where quantum superposition comes into play, which is just fantastic. Our brain creates a new filter or an addition to our filtration system here, okay? So our brain is looking at the vanilla trajectory, and there's a veil, as our brain is also just as real as the vanilla, looking at the chocolate trajectory and what happens in the whole line of things after we make that choice of chocolate ice cream, and what happens after we make that choice of vanilla ice cream. So just like our brain is filtering the earthbound and the ethereal, our brain is filtering on this earthbound plane every life trajectory. So it's not picking one trajectory to focus on. It's focusing on and giving all of its attention to every single possibility. So let's look at the principle of least action. And this is just such a abridged version of what we believe the principle of least action to be. And as I'm talking about different quantum theories or principles, whatever it is, we have to remember that these are just the tip of the iceberg. These are only the things that we can even observe here. And because we're observing it, we're actually missing a ton. So it's kind of like floating on the surface of the Antarctic, and we see an iceberg, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, and below the surface there is so much more. So when we talk about quantum theory is just the tip of the iceberg. So we're going to look at the principle of least action. Now, what happens with the principle of least action is it is basically looking at every possible way or every possibility and picking the most efficient possibility. And so, but it's looking at every single one. It's taking into account every single possibility. So the possibility that could be really, really long and the possibility that could be really, really short, but it's going to be observing every single one of these possibilities before making its final case point. And it's going to not only just look at these possibilities, but it's going to look at every single end point of these possibilities. So for us, if we were going to say that we're looking at our life playing out the multitude, our brain is literally looking at every single possibility and every single endpoint. And I won't even say it's our brain that's looking at it. It's our overarching consciousness that is looking at it, using this particle, using this brain, using this body to look at all of these different possibilities. So our consciousness is observing every single one of these possibilities, and every single one of these possibilities of our life feels like this one, where it feels like that's the only possibility that we're focusing on. So how does it pick this particular life trajectory? And it's not picking one, it's looking at all of them. And as it's doing that, it's observing every single one just as real, just as tangible, just as full as this one feels. Yes, okay. I think that's where I'll end that one. If you have another question, or if you want me to answer that in a different way, go ahead and let me know. Your questions really do help me out, and they help me look at different ways that we can continue our conversation. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.